Hi, my name is Damon and I'm 17 years old. A half a year ago, I decided to go to the gym where I was the only boy among a bunch of girls. It was a serious test for me with lots of awkward situations, but I sure didn't expect how it all would end. The thing is, I love fast food. The fatter, fried, and more harmful the food is, the tastier it is. Just thinking about it makes my tummy growl, and I want to eat a couple of burgers. Anyway, during the last year, I managed to gain a little weight and went from 130 to 260 pounds. But neither my family nor my friends paid much attention to this, and so I thought everything was fine until I ran into some health problems. It got to the point that I couldn't tie my shoes, I couldn't keep up with my friends while walking fast, and I started running out of breath. Suddenly, I realized that I needed to lose weight. No, I didn't stop eating fast food, I just decided to work out and bought me a gym membership. However, soon I found out that I was the only guy in a gym full of beautiful and fit girls. Wow. Well, maybe it's even for the better, because they won't have anyone to compare me with, and I won't need to overwork myself too much. But everything turned out to be a lot different than I'd imagined. As soon as I entered the gym, all my courage vanished, and I didn't know what to do. So I started repeating the exercises which the girls would do, but then I realized it's too hard for me and I couldn't do it. It was really embarrassing for me because the girls started to watch me, and it made me feel very shy and insecure. Okay, never mind, I thought. Let's see, ladies, who is better on the treadmill? But as soon as I stepped on the track and pressed the start button, the machine started working at such a speed that I was instantly thrown aside onto the floor. The next moment, the girls started laughing so loud that the trainer had to calm them down. Turns out that the girl who used the treadmill before me didn't reset the program, and I certainly wasn't ready for such speed. What a shame. Well, yeah, I lost the battle, but not the war. The next day I decided to try some bench presses, but after my previous mishap, all the girls started watching me now. I didn't want them to think I'm a complete weakling, so I decided to add a few more discs to my bar. But as soon as I lay down on the bench with the heavy barbell in my hands, I'd realized that it was way too heavy for me. And I wasn't able to push it up at all. But not just that, I couldn't even hold it above my head. The barbell slowly started to go down, and in a matter of seconds, it would break my neck. I had no choice but to scream for help. And as luck would have it, there was no coach in the gym at that moment. But then one of the girls ran up to me, easily grabbed the barbell, and set me free. Thanks, I couldn't have done it by myself, but I believe you know that feeling after you've done 9 presses and you want to do one more really badly? And you can feel some pain, so you can't push it back, right? So this time I somehow managed to get out of a bad situation. But what had happened to me next, it was too much. Guys, I swear, all they did was just laugh at me. Well, you know, it's like when you say a Cybertruck is armored, but a metal ball can crack its windows. Anyway, all of a sudden the most beautiful girl came up to me and said, "You shouldn't skimp on sports clothes. You've been showing us a striptease here for like 30 minutes. What? What is she talking about? But when I looked in the mirror, I was shocked. My shorts had ripped open right at the back seam. And, well, I hit the hole with my hands and flew out of the gym like a bullet. I thought I would never go back to the gym after that last incident, but the next day, I asked my dad to give me some money and went to the sports store to buy myself a new pair of shorts. He asked me what had happened to my old one. Well, I just told him the truth. But then he told the whole family and they all started laughing at me. Very nice. Oh, you just wait. All of you. I'll show you who will laugh when I lose 100 pounds. But first of all, give me some money. So anyway, I walked around the mall for a long time choosing clothes of the best quality. But then I saw McDonald's and I felt a terrible hunger. I knew I had to go to the gym that day, but I thought it wouldn't hurt to recharge with some fast food energy, and without any remorse, I ate my favorite double cheeseburger combo. But I didn't know yet that I had made one of the biggest mistakes. With renewed vigor and full of energy, I put on my new things and entered the gym. The girls immediately gave me an appraising look for the first time. No one even laughed at me. And everything would have been fine if, while doing squats, a loud and terrible belch hadn't come out from me. Instantly, everyone in the gym burst out with laughter, and I ran away again. I went into an empty locker room and started to cry. I can't do it. Every time I screw up more and more, I'm just worthless. When I suddenly felt like someone hugged me by the shoulders, and you won't believe, it was Kim, the prettiest girl from the gym. You know, I was a big girl before, and it took me 2 years of hard work in the gym to turn into a beauty. You will succeed too. Just never give up. Now dry your tears and go back to the gym. Go. I don't know, this girl probably possesses some magical abilities or something because Her words and support gave me incredible confidence in myself. I went into the gym as a new person and started to work out hard. And if I'm not successful, I will repeat those exercises until I start to do them perfectly. Soon, the trainer noticed my efforts and made me a personal plan for proper nutrition and gave me some useful advice. And just 3 months later, I managed to drop over 50 pounds. This was something I couldn't even dream of. I got relief, and my extra pounds started to turn into muscle mass. Now, no one in the gym is laughing at me. And here's the big news. Once after a workout, Kim smiled at me and said I looked great. And I must admit, her words and smile were the best prize for all my efforts. It was the happiest day of my life. But that's not even all. I continued to work out, and in the next few months, I dropped another 30 pounds. I completely burned off all of the fat, got muscles all over my body, and became one of the sexiest boys in school. Also, last week, I started dating Kim. This girl absolutely changed my life because she is the one who supported me in difficult times and motivated me to become better and stronger. Now, we are the most beautiful couple, not only in the gym, but in the whole city. And yes, I'll never pick up a burger again.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I'm 14 years old. I want to tell you a terrible story about how I became a victim of jealous girls in my school, which almost cost me my life. From an early age, I was good at learning foreign languages, and when my parents noticed it, they sent me to a specialized school. But it happened that I was the only boy among 20 girls in my class. Anyway, time had passed, and in a few years, I started to become more handsome. By the age of 12, I was quite tall already, and I had expressive facial features and long hair. My mom is a clothes designer, and that's why I always dressed nice and fashionable, and all the girls were running after me. They were just crazy about me. Each one was trying to stand out with something and be better than the others in order to attract my attention. I must admit I was flattered by it, and I liked it. In return, I would constantly flirt with them, tickle them, playfully pull their hair, and they did home chores for me. It was all fun, but soon, everything changed dramatically when a new girl named Betty came to our class. She was very modest, quiet, and very calm, and dressed simply. Also, it was difficult for her to join the team, and she was always alone. But there was something about her that attracted me. Soon, it turned out that she lives near me, so we started coming and leaving school together. Me and Betty became good friends, and I liked her company a lot when, all of a sudden, I started having some sympathy for her. And soon, it turned into a huge problem for me. The girls at school became very jealous and started to hate Betty. They would constantly mock her and call her names, but then their jealousy became unbearable. Several times they put laxatives or sleeping pills in Betty's drink during lunch. It's a good thing I noticed it and splashed the drink all over their faces. But once, Betty didn't come to school, and then she didn't come for a whole week. It turns out she had severe poisoning and was admitted to the hospital. I was very worried about her, and every day after school I ran to her to find out about her condition. That's when I started to think that I fell in love with her. In the meantime, the girls at school started flirting with me again, handing me notes in the middle of lessons, stealing my diary to make me run after them around the classroom. Well, there was nothing new actually, except I started to hit back. When Betty came back to school, I decided to do something nice for her. Between lessons, I ran into a classroom and took flowers from a flower pot for Betty. But as soon as I entered the classroom, Katie, the girl who bothers me the most, ran up to me and grabbed the flowers that I had. "Wow, these are my favorite flowers. And how did you guess, huh?" But when I said the flowers were for Betty, her face suddenly twisted into an ugly grimace. "Please don't tell me you fell in love with that gray mouse." Then she burst into a hysterical laughter and threw the flowers into the trash can, and the whole class started laughing at me. It was just an awful situation, and I took the flowers from the trash and threw them at Katie. Now they don't laugh anymore. A month later, I caught a cold, and while I had to spend a couple days in bed, my classmates decided to take advantage of it. They caught Betty after school and started threatening her. They pushed her down on the ground and made her promise she would stop talking to me, and if she didn't, she would have big problems. But when she went home all in tears, she called me and told me everything. I couldn't believe my classmates were capable of such a thing. I was so angry that I stole my father's car and ran immediately to Katie's house. I took some mud and started throwing it at her house. When she came out of her house, I quickly drove away. And I wish you could have seen her face. But that's not even all. Since then, me and Betty started dating, and everything was fine and calm until this happened. Once, me and Betty stayed in the classroom a bit longer, and for that reason, we were late getting to the lunchroom. By the time we got there, all the girls were sitting at the tables and eating. Usually, Betty and I always sat in certain places, but this time we decided to switch places. Soon after lunch, I felt a sharp pain in my stomach and began to throw up. I felt so bad that the teachers had to call me an ambulance. In a matter of minutes, a rash and red spots appeared on my skin, and my condition was getting worse and worse. It turned out I had very bad poisoning, and the doctors were fighting for my life. For a whole week, I stayed in the hospital and was in very serious condition. I was so sick that I couldn't even speak. However, soon I slowly began to recover. By that time, my parents had already gone to the school and made a big scene there with the kitchen chefs and the school principal. As a result, a sanitary inspection conducted an examination, but nothing harmful was found in the kitchen. Nevertheless, at the request of my parents, the principal fired the chefs and new employees quickly came in to replace them. But as soon as I finally came to my senses and found out about everything, I remembered how it really was. Then I told my parents everything. I told them about my relationship with Betty, about how our classmates are jealous of her, and how many times they tried to poison Betty, but this time I happened to get poisoned. And the next day, a real mess had started at school. My parents called the police and sent them to my school, and soon investigations began. Every girl in the class was interrogated separately, all their things and backpacks were checked, and no evidence was found. And I know that it's more likely that Katie did this, but I didn't catch her at the moment of the crime, so I couldn't prove anything either. Eventually, me and Betty were transferred to another school to avoid further problems with the jealous girl. Our new classmates are nice, and they were friendly and accepted us. And what matters the most, me and Betty love each other, and it might sound strange, but I'm glad I'm the one who got poisoned and not her. After all, who knows? Maybe I saved the life of my love.